The military action and ongoing war currently being waged against Iran carry profound and far-reaching implications for global nuclear security. At first glance, the stated objective of these operations is often framed as preventing nuclear proliferation, ensuring that nuclear weapons do not spread in the Middle East. Yet, paradoxically, the very act of initiating such a conflict can produce the exact opposite effect. By escalating military tensions and demonstrating the willingness to use force against Iran, this war may inadvertently encourage Iran to accelerate its nuclear ambitions. The fear is that Tehran, feeling threatened and encircled, could perceive the development or enhancement of a nuclear arsenal as an essential measure for national security, deterrence, and survival. This dynamic is not limited to Iran alone. Neighboring Arab countries, particularly those geographically close to Iran and historically involved in regional rivalries, may observe Tehran's nuclear developments and decide to pursue their own nuclear programs. States such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and potentially others could conclude that the balance of power in the Gulf region requires them to acquire similar capabilities, thereby igniting a regional nuclear arms race. Such developments would directly undermine the initial goal of preventing nuclear proliferation, creating a highly unstable and unpredictable strategic environment in the Middle East. The paradox extends beyond the Middle East. In Europe, the consequences of the Iran conflict are already manifesting in shifts in nuclear policy and strategic planning. French President Emmanuel Macron, for instance, has recently unveiled new initiatives to bolster France's nuclear deterrence program. France is actively expanding its nuclear capabilities, investing in new delivery systems, missiles, and even naval carriers capable of supporting nuclear operations. While precise statistics regarding the scale of these enhancements are not publicly disclosed, the overall message is clear. France is positioning itself to strengthen its nuclear umbrella and extend protection to allied nations. Countries such as Denmark and Germany have shown interest in participating under this French nuclear umbrella, signaling a growing willingness among European nations to engage more directly with nuclear deterrence strategies. The United Kingdom, long a central player in European and transatlantic security matters, remains fully involved in these developments. Collectively, these moves suggest that Europe is responding to the escalating Middle East crisis by recalibrating its nuclear posture, thereby raising the risk that the issue of nuclear proliferation may spiral beyond manageable limits. European leaders are openly discussing these concerns, acknowledging the potential for rapid escalation and the resurgence of nuclear anxieties on the continent. Northeast Asia is also experiencing similar dynamics. The United States, in coordination with South Korea, has been conducting extensive military exercises that integrate nuclear components into their operational planning. These exercises serve multiple purposes, signaling deterrence to potential adversaries, enhancing military readiness, and reinforcing commitments to allies in the region. However, the visible incorporation of nuclear elements into routine drills can provoke tensions and heighten regional insecurity. North Korea, for example, may perceive these developments as justification to accelerate its own nuclear and missile programs, further destabilizing an already fragile security environment. The broader geopolitical implications are profound. The initial rationale for targeting Iran, ostensibly to prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons, may inadvertently contribute to a global environment in which nuclear ambitions are normalized or even accelerated. States that previously refrained from pursuing nuclear capabilities may reconsider their positions, seeking their own deterrent measures in response to perceived threats or to maintain strategic parity. This ripple effect could extend from the Middle East to Europe, Northeast Asia, and potentially other regions, creating a complex web of nuclear tensions that is increasingly difficult to manage or contain. Moreover, the economic and political pressures associated with war can exacerbate these trends. Countries facing domestic challenges, whether economic stagnation, political instability, or social unrest, often use external conflicts to consolidate internal support or to demonstrate strength internationally. This dynamic can lead to riskier strategic calculations, including a greater willingness to adopt nuclear options as a form of insurance against perceived existential threats. Leaders in both Iran and its neighboring states may interpret the ongoing military pressure as a signal that nuclear capabilities are not only desirable but essential for maintaining sovereignty and deterrence credibility. International institutions and frameworks designed to regulate nuclear activity, such as the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, and the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, are also placed under tremendous strain in this context. These organizations rely on transparency, cooperation, and predictable state behavior to function effectively. When major conflicts disrupt these norms, compliance becomes more difficult to enforce, inspections may be delayed or obstructed, and verification mechanisms could be weakened. Consequently, the effectiveness of the global nuclear governance system may be compromised precisely when the world faces heightened risks of proliferation. In addition, the escalation of military action against Iran sends significant political signals to global powers. The United States and its allies are effectively demonstrating that military force is a viable tool to counter perceived nuclear threats. While this may achieve short-term tactical objectives, it risks establishing a dangerous precedent that nations under threat of external intervention may feel compelled to develop nuclear weapons to deter similar attacks. In essence, the intervention may act as a catalyst for the very proliferation it seeks to prevent. The European response illustrates another dimension of the challenge. Macron's nuclear expansion initiative, along with the engagement of countries like Germany and Denmark, highlights a renewed emphasis on collective defense and deterrence. Europe, long reliant on transatlantic security arrangements, is now actively reassessing its own nuclear posture in response to instability in the Middle East. These developments signal that nuclear concerns are no longer confined to traditional powers, but are increasingly relevant to a broader set of regional actors. As each nation seeks to secure its strategic position, the likelihood of overlapping and potentially conflicting nuclear policies grows. Similarly, the situation in Asia underscores the interconnectedness of nuclear security. U.S.-led exercises with South Korea, incorporating nuclear components, are not merely local or tactical maneuvers. They are part of a broader strategy that affects the entire region. Neighboring states observe these actions and respond according to their own security calculations. In a tightly coupled system, even small escalations can trigger chain reactions, leading to widespread nuclear tension. The cumulative effect of these developments is clear. The Iran conflict is no longer a regional issue confined to the Middle East. Its ramifications are global, affecting strategic stability in Europe, Asia, and potentially beyond. The interplay between military action, national security perceptions, and nuclear ambitions creates a volatile environment in which conventional conflict and nuclear proliferation are deeply intertwined. In conclusion, the ongoing war against Iran and the broader military interventions in the region present a paradoxical challenge. While intended to curb the spread of nuclear weapons, these actions may actually stimulate proliferation both within Iran and among neighboring states. Europe is responding with enhanced nuclear strategies. Northeast Asia is witnessing renewed integration of nuclear elements in military planning, and the global governance system faces unprecedented pressures. The lessons are clear. Military actions can produce unintended consequences. Nuclear proliferation is highly sensitive to perceived threats, and global stability depends on careful management of both regional conflicts and nuclear policy. The world is entering a period of heightened uncertainty in which the consequences of escalation could extend far beyond the immediate battlefield. affecting the security, political, and economic landscapes of multiple continents for years to come.